Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review for Metal Cardbot S Gigant Rex. And here he is with all my other Metal Cardbots so far. And here they are, all the, Commander class semi-truck robots. You can see that these guys just stylistically are much cooler than Armada Optimus Prime, but of course I have that nostalgia for him. Oh, and here he is with the Voyager, so you can see they actually scale pretty nicely together. Here's a look at the box. So you get a classic window box with all your fancy artwork, and then product shot on the back, but all of this is like CGI. You don't actually see what the robot looks like, but I guess you get a window, so that's fine. And then you also get like the instructions, which are on glossy paper. Nothing interesting there either. Here you get a 360 view of this guy, and you can see there's a lot of like the tanker parts are really visible on his body, like especially the back of his legs. But overall, I think his proportions are kind of perfect. He just looks like an anime character. He just looks really great. Everything just flows together so well in this figure. Obviously, the robot mode was their priority. When we take a look at his head sculpt, you can see it is very different than heavy iron. Like, it's really intricate looking head sculpt. It looks so much different than their other designs, which is pretty impressive because these figures always have a mask, so they always give them like some personality. He's got like these good crests and like these tiny little beady eyes and like these yellow little gems around his faceplate. But yeah, he comes with a couple of accessories. So of course he comes with his metal card. Just got awesome CGI model of him using his ridiculous dragon weapon. Like, I guess it's a T-Rex. But yeah, this thing is enormous. This thing, the weapon itself is like as big as like Blue Cop himself. The big Blue Cop, not even the small one. Like it's just enormous. It's got so much mass. But it can like open and close its jaws, so that's nice. So you can definitely grab any size figure with this. You can easily just crush them in its jaws, like even probably like going against heavy iron. You could probably even grab even around his chunky torso. Yeah, you could definitely get him in the jaws. So that's pretty awesome. And you can see there are like some similarities between the two, but everything on this figure is completely remolded, redesigned, so there is no reused parts at all, even though they are similar in a lot of ways. Even the transformation, nothing is reused. It's 100% original, even though they seem like there'd be a lot of carryover. So it's not a retool at all. But yeah, you got this giant thing. It's kind of awkward to pose it because it is heavy, but he's got good toes, unlike heavy iron, so he can actually hold on to it. But yeah, it's getting this into an interesting pose is hard, but he can basically do it. You might have to bend his knees a little bit, but yeah, he's barely hanging on with the tips of his toes without falling over, so that's pretty impressive that he can hold this huge chunk of plastic. But man, doesn't he look great? Yeah, so this is just clipped on up here. There's like a friction joint here, and then there's a friction joint under his arm. I'm gonna get this off. Maybe there's another joint here on this panel I think you have to open. Well, that's really on there. It doesn't want to come off at all. Okay, there it is. So this panel. And then you can get... Nope, it's still on there. So also this side panel. And then finally, this bottom panel. So all the panels, all three panels like grip onto his arms. This peg's like here, here, here. So once it's on there, it's really on there. But you get this giant... It almost looks like a cosplay weapon. It's so large. It could almost be like a handgun. But yeah, transformation for this is kind of interesting. You're going to fold this piece, goes up here. You're going to fold this back into his skull. From the front, you can see he doesn't look very impressive. It does just look like pincers, but that's okay. It just looks like a claw weapon. And then you're going to fold that into here, into his mouth. And then you can, I've only transformed this thing once. There you go, you just fold this all around. And there you have this massive brick. And it's so big, you can't even put the card like here, like you would think. The card actually goes over here, which is just insane. Like here's the card, here's all the accessory. It's just like this huge brick. So very cool accessory, so cool. And then that's not all. He's got, I guess this technically counts as an accessory. You can open these arm panels. They're just like friction together. And then you can slot out these swords here and then close it back up. And he's got these wrist swords or forearm blades. Like that's just so excellent that they worked that into. It was like not really necessary. He's already got a gigantic weapon, but for him to have like these parrying blades too. And he just looks so good with them on. All right, I ripped off his arm. But he looks so good with them just deployed, ready to go. And these are like arm shields. So he's got like shields and blades on his arms. Yeah, he just looks so intimidating. Even his base form, like, is kind of just a real improvement from Heavy Iron. I still like Heavy Iron a lot. But if you just look at their two base forms without any of their accessories, this guy's definitely much more simple, except for like his giant shoulder pads. But this guy, they took this design and they just went extra on everything. And I really appreciate it. They just went so much further than this original Diaclone looking robot. But man, yeah, doesn't he just look great from every angle? So highly recommend this robot. I gotta stop like ripping his arm off. But one thing I don't like though, that these blades are rubber, but they're really hard rubber. You might call it soft plastic, but they are basically rubber. So is this, unfortunately. But that's the only rubber he has on his body, so it's not the end of the world, but it would have been cool if these blades were just clear plastic. But yeah, for articulation, you get ball joint neck, you get 360 on the shoulder on great clicking ratchets, you get this click, and then you also get this outward click. And then, unlike Heavy Iron, you get bicep swivel. Oh, it's so satisfying. And his forearms just look so great, don't they? He doesn't have wrist articulation, which he really should. These are just huge wrists. It would be very easy to work that in. So that was kind of a missed opportunity there for sure. And then he's got outward kick, and you can move this panel. It's only for getting out of the way, so you can get a full outward kick. Like really unnecessary. This is just like, did not even have to be a separate piece. And then you get full forward, full backward kick, and then you get 90 degrees on the knee. So, and then you get thigh swivel at the knee. So you get just crazy amounts of articulation for something that really doesn't need it. Oh yeah, and you do get a crunchy waist swivel as well. So yeah, what a great amount of articulation. And his proportions are so good, he's going to look good in pretty much any pose. He does not have ankle tilts though still. So wrists, ankles, that's the only thing he's missing actually. Everything else is in place, so that's kind of perfect. And quality wise, he still feels very good. I'd say he's like a 9 out of 10. There's some parts that are not as amazing, but I think it's just the rubber that's throwing me off. Mostly he is like perfect quality. And then I do worry about his tiny little hip joints. Like you can see them in there. They're just like these tiny little pins. I don't know about that for a figure this big. But yeah, let's get into transformation. You can see how different this guy is. So we're just going to straighten out his body. Go ahead and close up his arm blades. And then we're going to just tear his arms off. They're on these two tabs, which attach to his shoulders. So we Just tear both of those off. And then he's going to disconnect his head from his chest, and then this whole trailer bit, like very similar to heavy iron, but in a totally different way. And he's got this other joint here. And then you're going to open up this crotch piece. And now that that's all open, you can just slide the front of the trailer out, or the semi-truck. So you got the whole cab assembly here. You can just close that up. You're going to rotate these shoulder panels up, and then you can just rotate this chest section back or slide it back. And then you're going to just basically sandwich this together and then get his head inside this shoulder assembly. And there you have the cute little cab mode. And then his legs do all the heavy lifting, of course. This is where a majority of his bulk is. So you're just going to sandwich these together. Well, actually, let's go ahead and get these panels detached first. So this panel just wraps around the back of his leg. You're just going to go ahead and get that in place. And then you're going to use the armature and get these back here. And then you're going to need to slot this out. These will be the back panels of the tanker. And then you're going to fold in his toes. And then there's another little joint over here. And then this will become the front of the tanker. So it's just a lot of unfolding, and that gets you the whole tanker assembly for the most part, except for the parts that are missing on the arms. And then there's like this joint is what connects this to this. It's kind of unnecessary. It could have just been a solid piece of plastic, but for some reason that can disconnect. So you get all this going, and then I guess you get these little doors in the back. That's kind of cool. And you're going to go ahead and close up his crotch section, rotate this way, and then on the back of his butt here, that's where you get the connection port. So there you go, that's basically the tanker. And then you got to get his arms, and you're just going to, of course, just straighten everything out. And then you're just going to sandwich the two arm sections together on this clip. Very simple. And that's it for the arms. So it takes 10 seconds, very nice. Make sure the blade is slid in there. And then you have this opened up, and then the arm, this is just going to clip into here. And actually, now that I look at this, this is almost like a base mode, isn't it? Good. Sort of like an Optimus Prime looking base. But anyway, you're going to clip this into this. And that's the arms now in position. They're covering up that gap that was in the trailer. And then you're just going to close everything up. No issue. It's very simple. Just clip everything together. It needs to be clipped. Everything clips perfectly together. I don't know why that's sticking out actually. Okay, there was another clip that wasn't engaged. And there you get that. And then you can get, there's even some storage in here. Not enough storage to put like this in. Obviously, it's just not going to happen. But you get a good amount of storage back here. You could probably fit like a core class figure or something. But yeah, there's your tanker truck, and then you just set that on top of the semi, and there you go. There's his truck mode. All right, so there he is in his truck mode.
Is one of the most hated YouTube.
Whoops, ignore that because I'm not going to edit it out. And then here he is with heavy iron. So you can see they are roughly the same size, totally different styles. That's just so cool that they're so different. So it's kind of worth having both of them because there's just no similarities, even though they're both semi-trucks. And then just want to see how big this thing is compared to the truck mode. So yeah, well worth it. I love this guy. If you didn't get heavy iron, this guy is better. You might as well just get this one. There's no reason to really get this figure unless you liked him too. I got this. He was about $70 on Gmarket. There's no way you can beat that price, and the shipping took a week. So yeah, good luck with that. All right, anyway, remember to check my link for the things that I'm selling because I still need to make money, and I'll see you in the next one.